Hey everyone, Mirai here, and welcome to yet another dungeon extravaganza leveling video for my Automata guild on Mal'Ganis US Horde. I regret to inform you all that this is probably going to be the last dungeon leveling video I will have. Some may be cheering, some may be sad. It's mixed results, I'm sure. I'm going to be hitting level 90 with this team here tonight with you guys live, pre-recorded live on my non-live stream. So, what are we doing here? We're not going to do a random Mista Pandaria dungeon. We're not going to do a random Cataclysm dungeon. We're going to run some specific dungeons here. And we can talk about why that is. We should probably talk about why that is. So we're going to do Lost City of Tol'vir. Obviously, the title of the video would have said that, and this is checked here right now. So let me just go down this list real quick. I'm finding it quite difficult to do dungeons from the 80 to 90 range. They're so incredibly unforgiving when it comes to melee, but just due to the dungeon scaling and the mob health pools being increased so large, every fight taking incredibly long time, some mechanics just are absolutely terrible to deal with. I mean, some of these dungeons are more difficult than what I remember as their heroic counterparts when the content was relevant. These things are way too overtuned, in my opinion. For any sort of leveling dungeon, for any normal player that just wants to join a random group of people through this tool, they're going to get thrown into one of these dungeons, and it's going to be incredibly unforgiving. That's all I have to say about that. So, Stormstyle Brewery. We'll go down the bosses here if I can remember. I don't remember exactly what everything down in the Cataclysm stuff, but Stormstyle Brewery. First boss is easy. He tries to uke you in the duker, but you stop that. You kill him. It's pretty easy to kill him. The second boss is the ball of fur that does this stupid little carrot vomit all over everyone. Has 1,000 ads that you have to take care of, and does his little whirlwind, his little spinning whirlwind move, where he just automatically drops aggro and picks a random character in the party to follow. So that guy's pretty annoying to fight as melee, I'll tell you that much. And because if you were ranged, you could park your ranged all on one side of that little area, and you could have your tank just on the complete opposite side. And if he was to choose, he was go into his whirlwind move. If he chooses any of the ranged guys, you let him get, most of the way there. Then you hit taunt, and he starts coming back for a moment or two. And then I don't know. That's my take on it anyway. It would be pretty easy. Now, that final boss, if you're not familiar with Stormstyle Brewery, the final boss has a random set of mechanics to him. He can have a bubble shield. He can have blackout brew. He can have, I forgot what the other debuff is called. He can have where he throws the waves of beer that come at you that you need to jump over. You get a super high jump. There's all kinds of different tactics, different mechanics that guy can come with. And I did it with this team. I got lucky because I didn't have to deal with a bubble shield. I didn't have to deal with blackout brew. I got the easiest mechanics to deal with. I didn't have to jump over the beer. All I had to deal with was people standing next to each other, and they get some debuff where they start shooting out beer from them, and you take some damage. It was not even a big deal whatsoever. It took a very long time to kill that guy, though. I'll tell you that much. So I didn't ever want to go back in there again. Temple of the Jade Serpent, I can obviously just keep repeating that as well, but it's kind of lame because like all the RP really slows everything down. Like the first guy's got all that RP, and you have to go through the water elementals one at a time and kill them, and then kill the things they split into, and then finally you can kill that guy. And again, he takes forever too because you got to run around that circle and not get hit by his fire hydrant move where he shoots out water. And then you move on to the second boss. You can do either the first or second boss in any order you want. But the second boss is, again, a random boss, whether it's 5 suns, which I find that to be the super easy version of that boss, or you can get the 2 strife and whatever else it's called, but you have to switch between them after so many stacks. Those guys tend to hit me pretty damn hard, and I have a very difficult time healing through that. So I'm not sure what I'm doing wrong there. I mean, I played these dungeons a ton. I ran these dungeons endlessly back in Mista Pandaria. I was a warrior tank. I was doing heroics nonstop. I'm thoroughly familiar with all of these heroics in Mista Pandaria, at least from a tanking perspective. So anyway, I can do Temple of the Jade Serpent. I do have a video a few prior to this where right after 735 hit, I did Temple of the Jade Serpent successfully. Not a big deal, but that third boss, she's pretty tough. And I haven't never wiped on her yet, but I mean, sometimes I come close. There's like shit all over the ground. You're like, you just are kind of glad it's over. You're like, oh man, I can't believe I survived that. And the final boss is then pretty easy. So Temple of the Jade Serpent I can do. Mogushan Palace, I can do anything up until that final boss. Pre-735, that final boss was an absolute bitch to kill, especially with an all melee team, because everyone is out there standing with the tank. Everyone can get hit by daggers. Everyone can get hit by the fire on the ground. Everyone can get hit by the spinning weapons. Everyone, if you position them wrong for just half a second, everyone's going to get hit by that shockwave move. Man, there's just too much room for failure in that fight. Not saying it's impossible, but I am saying that I would rather not deal with that right now. So I've never done Mogushan Palace yet. Shadowpan Monastery, I have a feeling I would be able to do all the way up until possibly the third boss. Third boss can put out a lot of damage for melee because he does a spinning move and he does that spike move where he picks a random party member and he can disorient them. And if he hits the tank, I think he drops aggro for a minute. But he constantly does that spin move and he hits everyone in melee range. So again, melee is incredibly unforgiving at that point. So then you would move on to the fourth final boss where he does you've got a hate meter and you have to do, I don't know what it is. You have to like pray or something to relieve the hate, to drop the hate meter down. But the other big thing is that he does he drops those purple ground effect things with the floaty purple orb. Those things grip you around. And because now with the increased health pools, you are most certainly going to be dealing with that mechanic. So now you're going to take all your melee guys and run them into each purple section, which damages you while you're trying to down the orb. And there's at least 2 of them that show up, if not 3, I believe. So you have to go through 2 to 3 of those, and then you have to come back to the boss for X amount of time before he does that again. Because if you ignore those purple things, those orbs, they're just going to grip you from orb to orb to orb. It's completely disorientating and very annoying to deal with, and almost certain death if you have just too many of them. You're getting gripped all around all the place. You're taking damage, and it's just something that's difficult to recover from. Gate of the Setting Sun. Now, I messed these 2 up. Gate of the Setting Sun is the one where that's the one with the guy with the big thing at the end ramming its head into the gate. Yeah, to the gate. Yeah, okay. So the first boss I think would be pretty tough. I would have to get pretty lucky on the bomb. And I say this simply, again, from the viewpoint that every fight takes like 60 to 120 seconds. You know, fights before would be over in 40 seconds. Now they're definitely, they're easily twice as long, if not longer than that. If you have to keep moving away from something, if you have to keep pulling your melee characters out of something, you know, that is just going to increase the runtime, the overall total time of that fight. And it's terrible. So this is the guy that drops the bombs. Excuse me. This is the guy that drops the bombs, and you have to dodge the bombs, and it's kind of like a game of Bomberman in such a way. And I think with all the melee characters there, you'd have to really be positioned very nicely in order to be able to easily strafe in and out of the bombs. Otherwise, what usually happens is your melee characters, they all kind of shift a different way. And then when you try to strafe, they all kind of spread out if you strafe for too long. And it's just, when you try to regroup again, you just can't get them to come straight. And I think that would be difficult. Doable, but difficult. The second boss is the guy where you go up the elevator and you fight the giant flying mantid guy. And I think I would be able to do that because you simply get sort of like a timeout phase. You get a chill out phase while he's laying fire down in each direction on the top area there. You got to dodge some poison. You got to take care of some ads. I don't think that would be I don't think that would be problematic. I think I'd be able to heal myself back up between that. But I just think the final boss might be a little tough. But maybe not. Maybe not. I don't know what the scaling is in that place. So, I'm sorry. Not the final boss. There's a third boss. This is what really puts the roadblock on Gate of the Setting Sun for me. Is that third boss. He's the guy. He's the general guy or commander or whatever he is that will call ads into the fight. But the ads aren't really problematic. They're non-elite as far as I can remember, and they get cut down pretty quickly. However, post-735 scaling, I really have no idea. But he's the guy that drops the poison on the ground. And you have to kite him around the edge of that bridge area so that the poison, so you can keep spreading out the poison. The problem is melee characters, you're very most likely going to be standing in that poison. And now since fights take an incredibly long time, it's very likely that you're just going to die, because trying to get yourself out of the poison all the time, you'd have to be positioned really nicely. And then you'd have to hope that you don't fall out of that position for a while. I'm not sure. I don't think that would be a friendly fight. And I think that would be the roadblock for Gate of the Setting Sun for me. So the final boss, again, you shoot yourself in the catapult up to the top of the weak spot of the big bug guy. I think it's doable, but maybe not. I don't know. Again, fights take so much longer. There'll be a timestamp on the screen. I'll have put a timestamp on the screen if you just want to jump to Lost City of Tol'vir, because we're going to move down this list. I just want to talk about this list here because this is the final video of all of this. I'll refer people to my overview of the 80 to 90 dungeons. Everything up to this point has been pretty easy. I imagine there's some things in Burning Crusade that I don't remember being able to do. Right now, I don't feel like talking about that. We're trying to recall that information. But Siege of Nuzal Temple is the one. The first, that's where you start off in kind of like the little hive area. There's those slimes in that beginning area that really make that first beginning area super easy. Those slimes give you a buff that stacks indefinitely, as far as I know, and you get an increase to your damage output and everything, and you become really kind of like super souped up characters, and you can do a ton of damage, and all of that is pretty easy there. So the first boss in all that first area, I would not consider that to be difficult. The second boss is the one where you're throwing the sap down, you're trying to stop or slow the things from getting to you, the warriors. He calls in the I know it all too well, but I can't. The flying thing that comes in, it's got a specific name. They call it in every once in a while. It's not a big deal to deal with all those ads. I think that's pretty easy. The problem is the boss itself. The boss itself, I don't think he actually affects anyone in melee range. So maybe this is something I could take care of, although I'm not entirely sure. I don't really remember exactly how this mechanic works, but he has a whirlwind attack that is abso-fucking-lutely deadly. Pre-735, if he caught me off guard, he could kill anyone he wanted to. And he does that whirlwind a lot. He does that quite often. So with the fight being much longer than it is now, I'd have to survive even longer than that. I can try these, and I will try some of these dungeons again. I do still have one other team to go from 80 to 90 on. I was mistaken if I said this in a prior video where I had only 5 more levels to go on them. They're actually not even level 81. So I'm going to have another 10 levels on a team here, and I'll try some of these other dungeons. It is a double warrior team. It's the same exact composition. So we'll see if I can actually get some of this stuff done. This may not actually be the final video. Maybe I will have some victorious stuff that I'm going to record in one of these other places, but I doubt it, just given these overviews that I'm giving right now. Ranged teams, of course, will have it easier in some of these dungeons, just simply because you don't have to worry about all the melee mechanics. Like, for instance, the third boss in Gate of the Setting Sun, the guy that keeps laying down the poison. The guy that he's also got this killer attack where he does this rapid fire attack right at the tank, and it hurts, and you have to get the hell out of the way, as far as I remember. And you just have to keep moving. But if you've got a lot of melee, man, it's just not a lot of fun. So moving into Cataclysm real fast, Blackrock Caverns I think would be doable. I actually haven't tried it just because I cannot stand that dungeon. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Throne of the Tides I think would be absolutely terrible. The bonus boss in there would be absolutely terrible. I think the first boss, yeah, because she, the problem is she throws down a big thing of poison that is an instant cast that you don't interrupt. You don't really ever see it coming. It just, there's poison on the ground. And with 4 out of 5 characters being melee, that's an 80% chance that poison's going to hit us in melee range. So really you have to hope for it to hit the priest, or I have to hope for it to hit the priest so I can just strafe the priest out of the poison and we're good. But otherwise, I think it leaves behind a dot, which is why it really screws me up in melee. Not needless to say, when she goes into her ad phase, she turns kind of similar to the first boss in Temple of the Jade Serpent, the fire hydrant water gun guy. She also, the first Naga boss in Throne of Tides, she also has that spinny water move attack that she does. And that point is the ads phase, where there's 2 casters and 1 big brute type guy that has a cleave that hits anyone in front of him. The casters have a chain lightning, which is unbelievably powerful. And that place, man, I can't stand Throne of Tides. I cannot. The final boss is a laughable joke compared to everything else in that dungeon. Compared to anything else in this particular level range of Cataclysm, Neptulon versus Azumat is I don't even know how that encounter got made. I swear to you. If you've never played it, it's absolutely ridiculous. Stone Core, I think, would be very hectic. I don't think I would be able to kill the big guy. I forget his name. The guy's like, break your bones on my body or something. Break yourself on my body. That guy. That guy's an absolute bitch to kill with an all melee team pre-735. And I think it would be incredibly difficult with the increased fight time. I mean, you would have to be on point. And I mentioned this in prior videos. People are just trying to fucking level. People are not looking to hone their skills to be the top DPS, to be the best healer, to be the best tank in these dungeons. Although these are normal and they're just so unforgiving, right? Vortex Pinnacle is another one that has these unforgiving fights. The final boss is actually, I think, would be pretty easy in Vortex Pinnacle if you could make it there. But there's these like midpoint mini boss dragons that seemingly do a ton of damage to you at times, even if you're standing in those health pool areas that they lay down. They can do a ton of damage to you. And I just think, again, with the increased fight times, if people are standing in the wrong place, man, there's just so much spread out damage. And with a melee team, it's difficult to control that sometimes. There's also that guy that has the whirlwinds that surround the platform that he's on. And at some point of the fight, he calls all the whirlwinds in. And you have to take damage as you exit that, as you get out of that area. You have to take damage as you eat that. And that's a ton of damage as well. All of these Cataclysm dungeons, I just do not like this era one bit. So Vortex Pinnacle, I think would be pretty difficult. Grim Batal, I'm actually incredibly unfamiliar with Grim Batal. I did it once with Supernova in one of our 2+3 runs. That is the only time I believe I've ever done Grim Batal. I can't comment on it, really. Halls of Origination. Did this one earlier today, and it's doable, but the place is so huge and so drawn out. There must be, I think there's like a total of maybe like 10 trash packs in that entire dungeon that give you experience. And I'm not counting the ones that are by the final bonus bosses, because that's why I tried this dungeon, because it has 3 bonus bosses right at the end. And I was like, oh yeah, this is great. The bonus bosses at the time were giving me about 67,000 K each, because they always give you, the bonus bosses are separate from the main entries on the dungeons. What do I want to say here? The bonus bosses are always separate from the main objectives. That's what I want to say, right? So you have to kill like 3 bosses or 4 bosses, and then you've got 3 bonus bosses. But the place is so fucking drawn out. That is another complaint I have, but perhaps the discussion for another day, is that all the Cataclysm dungeons are just like these miniature raids that are so huge and so drawn out, and the mobs, the packs of mobs are so sporadic. Nothing's dense, nothing's, you go to like Burning Crusade dungeons and you can find places like Shattered Halls or places like Magister's Terrace that just have a ton of mobs just closely packed together. That's a lot of experience that you can gain. Excuse me, man, I had a delicious dinner, by the way. But all these Cataclysm dungeons, they're all just so spread out and boring, and there's so much walking, and it's a big fucking snooze fest. And then every boss is very unforgiving at this point with the increased fight times. But Halls of Origination is like that. I was able to do every normal boss. The only boss that really gave me any trouble, if I can even remember, was probably the first boss, just because it takes forever. I'm not going to explain it, but it's a pain in the ass to do. So he was probably the most difficult boss, but once I got it down, it wasn't a big deal at all. So the 4 main bosses in there are pretty easy, but the 3 bonus bosses, I really wanted them to be like, the juiciness. I wanted that extra 180,000 plus experience. Holy shit though, man. The pulls, each bonus boss has 2 pulls before it, and those pulls are like mini bosses in their own. Holy shit, with the increased health pools, it's unbelievable how long it takes to kill those trash packs. And then you fight the boss, and if you look at these fucking bosses, I have to show this, because if you're not familiar, I have to show this, not a raid. Sorry, I get confused sometimes. No, not Mr. Pandaria. Cataclysm. Halls of Origination. If you look at these bosses, so Isis Set is a bonus boss, Amune and Satesh are all bonus bosses. We look at this, And there's this, everything's a wall of text. There's all this stuff to know about, mirror images, extra damage. She splits 3 different phases. It's like, holy fuck, man. This is a 5-man dungeon. And there's a ton of shit to know here. Amune has even more stuff to him. He's got all kinds of I actually killed Isiset and Amune, but only because I had Bloodlust available. And I waited. I tried to kill Amune himself. Or no. Actually, I think I went AFK because I wanted to go do something. I just wanted to let the cooldown come down because I wasn't sure. After killing Isiset, I was not sure I would ever even stand a chance against Amune. And he's got a ton of shit too. It's this giant wall of text that you have to be familiar with. And I didn't even try Satesh because I couldn't get through his ads. I couldn't get through the guy's ads. Now, I could have given his ads a second attempt, but on the first attempt, they fucking wiped me. It wasn't even close. It wasn't even close. I must have been standing in something, but I have no idea because the ads aren't, regular mobs are not in the dungeon journal. But this guy's got a fucking, all this bullshit to him. You have to know all of this stuff about these 5-man fights. Halls of Origination looks fucking amazing. The place is amazing in just terms of environment and just overall feeling of being in this place. But on the other hand, it is a bore fest, man. And just having to know all of these mechanics for what? To level? No thanks, man. No thank you. I'll skip this dungeon. So anyway, the only thing I've gotten to at this point is Lost City of Tol'vir. And all these people in Discord, in the ISBoxer Discord, have been like, just use Lost City of Tol'vir. I'm like, I've never been there either. I was really unfamiliar with the place. But man, this place is fucking easy. So let's queue as a party. Let's finally get this party started. Let's get into Lost City of Tol'vir. And let's do this. So where are we? I don't even know where we're at. I've been talking for quite some time. So I do apologize about that. But again, there would have been a timestamp to show you guys to just about that. So again, there's not really a lot of trash packs in here, but I do actually go out of my way to clear some of these things because I just want the added experience. It's probably not a big deal actually in this run, simply because I am the completion bonus is likely going to get me exactly my level. So we want to kill Plague Bringers first, and then Darkcasters, none of which are in this. So this place is pretty easy, and I say that now, watch me wipe. I've been doing pretty good. I haven't wiped on normal trash or anything, but I obviously haven't been trying to do commentary at the same time. So the bosses in here are pretty forgiving. One of the bosses is a little tough. We'll talk about that. I don't know why these guys are coming over. Oh, we're not actually going to get the whole pack. Oh, okay. These guys are not elite, so I'm not even going to bother with them. Okay, so this guy's like a slight, little tiny mini boss is what it feels like. I'm going to leave my characters back here right now. And I'm actually just going to click a few things here. He's going to lay down a black puddle in a second. Okay, yeah, make me a liar. Okay, so we bring these guys in. We do our little crit move. We can down him before he does that. I just don't want to bring the melee into that, and it's it's a task to get him out of there. They just take unneeded damage, so I know that I can kill him that way. Plague Bringers first, then Darkcasters. We don't have a Darkcaster. Plague Bringer, I don't know why that's a tongue twister right now. Plague Bringers, they put a dot on. They shoot out, they spit out some poison, and it puts a dot on you. It's a pretty bad dot, man. So if you're facing them towards your other party members, it's gonna hurt. Okay, give me a big heal. Big heal, please. I find it difficult to heal through some of this damage at times. It's really odd that some of these guys just do so much damage to you. It's like, it's dangerous, but not dangerous at the same time. It's like you can never move out of the 50% range of health. That's what I feel like sometimes. So there's a boss right here. We got good old General Hussam, but we do have to clear this area out. You can mount out here. Here's the problem, though, is that we don't want to clear this and pull this guy at the same time. So now I have to wait for this guy to path back. Plague Bringer. It's not really a long dungeon whatsoever. I've got it down. I was playing it earlier. I've just fired this all back up to do this. So hopefully I didn't, hopefully I didn't get too rusty in the time I haven't been playing. I've been doing this one all day though. So in addition to just trying Halls of Origination earlier, yeah. I wanted that place to be nice and useful, but it's just I cannot find it to be useful. Okay, so let's heal up. Now this boss, he's going to throw down some yellow circles on the ground. They look like mines. I guess that's what they are because they do eventually explode. What they're going to do is they're just going to sit there and just going to emit this gold sparkly animation, and that does nothing. That does nothing. I guess it's just there to indicate that, hey, I'm something. Because if you, first of all, if you step on them when they're in that form, you get blown backwards. So don't step on them. But if they sit there for long enough on the ground, they do turn into mines. You will start to see red circles appear around them to show their blast radius, and that's when you kind of should get the hell out of dodge. Other than that, this guy does a shockwave move, which up to this point has seemingly done 0 damage to me. So I'm not sure if that's a bug. If it is, I'm very glad because it can be quite difficult to dodge with your entire team, especially as melee. It all comes down to melee. See, this is what I really have to drive home. I have not been lying to you people for this time when I say melee teams are incredibly unforgiving. And I'm simply just leveling this way to get these characters up. But we'll see what we'll see what Legion Mythics have to give us in terms of melee, because people usually play 5 tanks, like 5 Paladins, 5 DKs, 5 Warlocks, 5 Hunters or something. So it's really easy to just kind of play that. I'm interested to kind of dip my toes in with the knowledge and the expertise that I have in multi-boxing, finally dip my toes into Mythics and see where I can get in terms of like mixed teams and whatnot. But I do expect to get further than I don't expect to get further with a mixed team than with a same class team. So I think that's it. Yeah. So yeah, I have not been lying to you guys about melee being incredibly unforgiving, and it's really showing its face here in these final dungeons. That it's just not exciting. Just kind of get out of that so you don't step on them accidentally. I think it is a knockback as well. I'm not entirely sure. We could dungeon journal him, but I don't care. Most of these guys are a goddamn. See what I mean? Here's a shockwave. It's kind of like the ice move. You do get blown back if you get caught by the shockwave, I think. It's similar to the ice guy in Nexus. So now this is when, actually, we'll just we'll come over here, kind of just get everyone out of the way. He does have a knockback. Everyone just kind of got knocked back there. Is everyone here? Okay. Yes, everyone's here. You can see it doesn't do a lot of damage regardless. So if anyone's standing on anything bad, no, not really. Oh, never mind. He's got a little bit of a hit he does there. We'll come over here. Oh, so there's my explode. There, see. Step on thing, and then you get hit. Okay. But you see how much damage I didn't take there? So that's like, I think there's something wrong with that. But now these guys are probably going to hit some of those. But they don't seem to do any damage. So I'm okay with that. I'm totally okay with that. If they did do damage, this would be an incredibly terrible fight. So here we're going to just break this out. Shockwave. Is he going to die? Those things are going to explode. We're going to try to push through it. I don't know how much damage the mines actually do when they explode. Oh. None? Oh, these guys got pushed out of the way, probably because of the shockwave. Okay, so that's General Hussam. Hussam, yes. And then we can mount up. Cruising right along. 1 for 4. I'm going to clear a little bit of extra. Well, no, I said that before. I guess I don't need to do the extra trash. I'm sorry. False alarm. I don't really know the kill order here. Myrmidons, they tend to be able to deflect my attacks, so kill those guys first, I guess. The Skinners do that blade move. What is that called? Blade dance? Fan of Knives. Fan of Knives, that's what it's called. They do the Fan of Knives move. But it's pretty unforgiving. Only some of this stuff. These guys, man, these guys kill me. I really hate these guys. So there's a fire breather in here that I try to avoid. He's going to waste his fire right there. And then I zoom in. You can dispel the fire, and you're going to see me dispel it here in a little bit, because we have to fight some more of these guys. But they take a lot of damage, and they're just little pygmy guys. No, no, don't fight the other. Jesus, I tabbed over to the other group over there. Don't worry, it wouldn't be the first time that we've pulled them accidentally. Okay, cruising right along. We're going to the Crocolisk boss. I don't know who designed this shit in Cataclysm. Like, they had a perfectly fine Crocolisk boss right here. If I did just... Okay, can we get out of the... So there's Crocolisk Lockmaw back here. And there's this guy, who is just a giant pygmy guy. And I have no idea, absolutely no idea what his role in all of this is. They could have just had a regular crocodile fight here, and it would have been just fine. But this guy being here, I have no idea. We're going to run into this. It does not start the boss fight. We start this, and then he does this, and he stuns us. Okay, and that's it. And then he disappears, and you're like, what just happened? So we can actually dispel that. Get on the fire breather, please. Takes so much damage, man. So the crocodile here, Lockmaw, he's got a tail move. It's called dust something, whatever it is. Obviously, you know, dragons and shit have really powerful tails. Alligators have crocodiles, have really powerful tails. You don't stand behind these things. Clearly, they always have some sort of tail swipe or tail move that they do that does a ton of damage. So it's really easy to avoid that. He does something where he puts scent. He puts a debuff, a scent debuff on any party member. I think it can be any party member. Not sure about the tank, but certainly can be healer or DPS. And then he just calls a bunch of little crocodile ads that come out of nowhere, I guess, the murky swamp surrounding area. And they all just are aggro to the person with the scent on them. Pretty easy to just spin to win, just AoE them down, not difficult at all. But the thing that's really odd about this fight is that Awe guy, the big pygmy, the large pygmy guy, he shows up in this fight and he does like one of three things from time to time. He'll show up and he'll be really slow and he'll do this whirlwind move where he'll just kind of seemingly randomly pick a character in your party to go after. If he's going after the healer, sometimes I'll bounce over to the healer's window and move her because he's moving so slow. You're just supposed to get out of the way. If he goes to the DPS, I kind of don't care. I just, he's invulnerable too. So it's not like you can do any damage to him. I just heal through his damage. The other thing he does is he'll show up and he'll shoot a poison dart. You definitely want to cleanse that. And he'll do one more where he'll show up. And I think he, I'm not sure what he does for the final one. Maybe he does nothing. He does another smoke bomb screen, but it doesn't stun you. So I don't know, man. I don't know. There's just every single one of these goddamn Cataclysm bosses has so much bullshit to them. It's like there wasn't enough. They're like, we don't have enough for a good, I guess you can all just kind of follow me over here. So, see, there's the Awe guy, and now he's going to shoot a poison dart at my guy. Okay, great. And then we're going to do this. There's the dust flail. You can see his tail flipping around back there. Don't stand behind the crocodile, kids. Now here he comes with his slow-ass whirlwind. I guess we should get this out. I'm just going to stand here and try to heal through it. It's not a deadly attack, and it doesn't last very long, so... Again, we're just AoEing down the crocodiles. I'll heal myself here. The damage, I mean, you know, sometimes there's a bit of constant damage, and other times it doesn't... What are you doing? Do that. Can you cleanse that? No. And other times it doesn't... You know, there's not really any damage at all. There's plenty of time to heal back up. Did you guys use your thing? There we go. Okay. I guess I should have waited till he was at 20%. Oh, that's right, because he does become enraged. All right, so we got a poison dart to now worry against. Cleanse that. Cleanse that. Can you cleanse that, please? Please? Okay, so we can't cleanse it. We can only cleanse it one at a time. Why are we not healing? What's with the healing? Just a long fight that is, here he comes in his whirlwind move. It's just a weird character. I don't know why he's there, what he's doing, what role he has to play. Maybe it says in the dungeon journal, but you know what? I don't care enough to read that because it's still gonna be meaningless that he's here. It's a little ignorant or closed-minded, but it is what it is. So we're gonna cruise back over to the third boss now. And this guy is the guy who could potentially wipe your team. I've only wiped him once, and it was an absolute accident that I did. Otherwise, the first time I fought him, I one-shot him that first attempt after looking at what he does and everything. I'm just so tired of reading the dungeon journal, man. I just want to level these dungeons, right? So I one-shot him. You don't stand in his stuff, and he goes into this crazy phase that isn't all that crazy once you kind of realize what it is. But when I one-shot him, one of the warriors was alive, and she probably survived with like 4% health. And I was like, well, I beat it, right? So it counted. But yeah, that was my first attempt one-shot at that. And then every other attempt has been pretty straightforward and easy. You know, I do so much better when I see the fight. You know, the dungeon journal doesn't tell me much of anything. It really doesn't. It gives me an idea to sort of look out for things, but man, if someone wants to explain it to me via voice, if someone wants to show me in a video, even pictures, if you can do that, although I imagine it's kind of difficult to do that in pictures. Plaguebringer. Okay. Stop him from doing his thing. Are we going to get it before he poisons everyone? Oh, we are. Interrupt that. Kill this Sturgis. Oh, the hex. I forgot about that. Plaguebringer, then Darkcaster. Plaguebringer, then Darkcaster, kids. Oh, good. There's 90 on the priest. Fantastic. I keep getting these hiccups, man. Plaguebringer, then Darkcaster. And everyone's got that now. That kind of sucks. I thought I was going to down him. But, hey, what are you doing? Darkcaster's going to hex somebody in a moment. I'm not too worried about it because there's just not a lot of damage going on. Oh, you're going to pull the guy. Damn it. These guys. Non-elite merchants that don't really move from their spot. Okay. So we should have... Maybe kill a few more merchants here. Actually, we want to be on a third gist, I think. Stop that. I think she's going to pull the other... No, what are you doing? Over here, people. Over here. Just drag this guy over to there. Whoops, now we're jumping backwards. Oh, man, I think I got carpal tunnel again. Feel yourself, Priesty Pants. So, here's our guy, High Prophet Barum. This guy, just to talk about what he does real fast, because I didn't really explain it earlier. In his normal form, there's two phases to the fight. There's phase 1, which is up to 50% of health, of his health. And what he does is he'll put a dot on somebody that needs to be cleansed off, I believe. I believe it's a dot. I don't really pay attention. The paladin is not the one who cleanses it. It's either the priest or the shaman that cleanses it. So I don't really pay attention to their screens during this fight if I see someone taking a lot of damage. Well, you know what? Wait, I thought that before. Actually, I'm sorry. I think I'm misdiagnosing this. I think the paladin is actually the one who does cleanse it. We'll see it in the fight, regardless. There's a dot you need to cleanse. He does a big old solar ray move, which has an 80% chance, again, to hit anyone in melee. So we are constantly moving out of that thing. And then at 50% health, he's going to pull us all in. He's going to put this sort of hollowed ground radius around him. He's going to pull us all in. We're going to bend the knee. He's going to steal our souls. He's going to put us into a second phase. It's sort of like an inverted night phase of exactly where we are now. We have to fight a purple phoenix, which is going to be the harbinger of something. That phoenix doesn't do anything except pull little soul fragments out of random players. If the soul fragment reaches the phoenix, then the phoenix gets empowered. Don't let that happen. But of course, with a heavy melee team or melee heavy team, 80% chance that those soul fragments are going to appear right next to the phoenix. So you want to get those down. They're not. It takes like a global to get them down. Just don't ignore them. You kill the phoenix and you come back into this world and you go back to the fight with this guy. And it's the exact same thing as the first 50% of his health. When you're in the inverted phase, you do not want to stand in his hollowed ground. That's actually where I made the mistake. I just wasn't paying attention. I was fighting in his hollowed ground and I was taking a ton of damage. And I'm like, what is happening here? And I realized that's what the problem is. So that's right away. Yeah, okay, so it is the paladin that does, okay. Because she can't cleanse it. And maybe she can cleanse it. Man, I'm so fucking... I don't know what's going on. I just do the fight. Just do the fight. I try to anticipate this guy's stupid, those things. Let's do a little healing here. Let me do this. I don't want to see a solar flare thingy prior to... Oh, Jesus! Get out of that! Oh, wow. Oh, but we've got dots on us. That's going to kill us. That killed me the first time, too. Yeah. Okay. Now, he knocks us all back. He knocks us out of the hollowed ground, so we're good to start off. Yeah, well, we could probably recar with the... please come over here. What the fuck are you doing? So you'll see these soul fragments pop up. Pretty much just AoE him down. Or not. Maybe we'll just... We are down a character, so... Can you not... What is the deal with you picking up the prophet, dude? Do you not have a target? Your back is to the prophet. How could you be picking that thing up? Oh, so that merges with them. Great. Yeah, I don't have enough DPS, it seems. Why are you taking so much damage? I'm back here. Okay, so we're going to start this fight. Oh, Jesus. My mouse is screwed up. We're just going to lay on hands this? Holy shit, man. Everything's all fucked up. Okay, regroup. Regroup, people. My God. I'm trying to, keep calm. Actually, get out of there, too. Okay, we're good. I think it comes down to having to commentate and stay alive. And that's that. And this guy breaks out of his prison up here. Oh boy. Okay, man. What is going on, man? I gotta put out a show for you people. I know the camera's on. I'm like, I gotta make this extra difficult. So all of a sudden, these wind tunnels up here all throughout the map, and you can easily get up to this guy. They couldn't just make a staircase or something. I don't know. So this guy's kind of a pain in the ass, but not really. I don't know. Every boss in here is simple, but can be a pain in the ass. So there's little minions you want to kill. Those ads, they can chain lightning you from anywhere on this platform. He calls servants of himself. Servants and minions. Minions are the little ads that continuously will show up throughout the fight at random times. The servants, he'll bring out 3 of them, and you want to kill 3 of them first before you start the fight on him. After you've killed 3, then you can begin the fight on him. Otherwise, he takes reduced damage until you kill all the servants. So the servants will come out one at a time. Then when it's finally his phase, you'll know it because he'll knock you around the platform, which in theory shouldn't actually knock you off of the platform because it's scripted, right? But I've been knocked off the platform before. So let's hope that doesn't happen this time. I've never wiped on this guy, so that's funny to say that now. Again, famous last words. I said that when it came down to Kael'thas, didn't I? So, yeah. There's these servant guys. They're going to try to cast something. You're probably going to want to interrupt it. Oh, no cast there. And a level. Well, they gave me experience. So there's a minion. We're going to get this servant first. Then we'll take care of that minion. That minion, see, that just chain lightnings you over and over and over. I just don't want to leave this servant up. The chain lightning isn't terrible, but certainly not fun and exciting to deal with. That's nice that he was putting these guys over here for us. Who's the priest? The priest is with us? Okay. We're up that. And now, you see what I mean? I've been knocked. Where's the other warrior? Is she up here now? Hold on. First of all, where is everybody at? So we've got one warrior on the ground. Great. Where's the, get out of the fucking storm. So now we have to figure out where our people are at. You are not, you're fine actually. Okay, you're fine. It's the other warrior. Once we get into a position where we can heal a little bit more. Where's the other warrior? She's right here. Hit this thing, hit this thing, hit this thing. She's coming back up. Okay. Fuck out of there. Get the hell out of there. Come on, warrior, where you at? Is she here? Is she here? Okay, we're gonna take a moment to, while he absorbs that phase. Please heal yourselves, people. Okay, let's go. It's so nice to have 3 healers. My God. If I didn't have 3 healers, I'm not sure what the hell would happen in some of these fights. Oh, you know, we could kill this guy. I'm sorry. I said we needed to get rid of these minions. It's kind of sooner than later. Get out of the green thing. You kind of want to keep your priest sort of, or your healer, whoever you're using to heal, sort of, oh boy. Sort of central to the platform. I'm not doing a good job of that, but if there's a minion over there and I need to drag my people over there, I will. So at about 30% here, we'll probably just, we'll probably lust just like that, baby. Woo, we're going to ignore that minion. I'm not too worried about it. I think that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Boom! Level 90 on everybody. Well, that's exciting. So that's Lost City of Tol'vir, people. I almost died a few times, but I mean, it is what it is, right? We completed it. I hit level 90. This is my 4th out of 5 dungeon teams that I'm leveling at this point. Again, I believe this is probably going to be the final video, but if it's not, then there'll be another one. Check the playlist. I'm going to make a playlist of this. I still have, at this point, I have just less than a month left on my recruiter friend, my 300% grandfathered recruiter friend experience bonus. I still have DKs, mages, druids, and hunters to level, but I have levels to grant from some of these guys to my main account. I have levels to grant. I have 13 boosts that I could use as well, so I could actually boost 2.5 teams of those. So we'll see how I divvy this up. If mages, you know, if mages are like on the back burner, then maybe I won't even do mages. I don't know. I don't know if mages bring a lot to the table in Mythics. I would imagine they don't. They're difficult to macro, but let's not dwell on that here. This has been a very long episode. Thank you for watching. My name is Mirai. I love you all as usual, and I'll see you in the next video, whichever one that may be. Later, guys.